I don't know what she was worshiping. That wasn't Jesus. See my shirt? Jesus loves you. Jesus don't love that demon. Jesus don't love whatever that thing was that was not Jesus. This woman's got a problem. What's up, everybody? My name's Jaren and I talk movies, and if you're just like me and you live within top movies, well, this may just be the place for you, so consider hitting that subscribe button. Finally, I get to talk to you guys today about Saint Maud. Now, if you're wondering why I say finally, it's because this movie was supposed to come out like early 2020, and then it got pushed back, and then they never really released a new date for it to come out, but they finally decided on one, and this film will be released February 12th on Epic streaming services and select theaters. Thank you, A24, so much for delivering an early screener for me to watch this so I could review it for you guys, because I've been waiting to see this film and talk about it for quite a long time. So I'm excited that I'm finally able to sit down and give you guys my thoughts on this movie. Maud is a reclusive young nurse whose impressionable demeanor causes her to pursue a pious path of Christian devotion after an obscure trauma. Now charged with the hospice care of Amanda, a retired dancer ravaged by cancer, Maud's fervent faith quickly inspires an obsessive conviction that she must save her ward's soul from eternal damnation, whatever the cost. Directed and written by Rose Glass, her directorial debut. So prior to checking out this film, I knew two things. One, that it was distributed by A24, and two, that I really thought that the trailer looked like something special, and I figured it was going to be a pretty trippy time. And well, was it? Absolutely. This is a film that, while I don't think is perfect, it definitely adds something very new and refreshing and very just original to the horror genre, and I think it's a great film overall. And for a directorial debut, Rose Glass really knocked this one out of the park. This film definitely takes a different route, as it's mainly a character study for the main character Maud, as she is really going through this journey of self-discovery and finding out more about this faith that she has proclaimed and she's really dived into. And at the same time, it's almost like a look at this mental illness that she has and how she can really perceive things in a different way than reality. And with that comes a lot of issues, as well as her just feeling like she's been put on this earth to do something greater, that she is being contacted by something bigger than anything she can fathom. And with that, she's put on some sort of mission to accomplish this goal, to save this lady she's taking care of from whatever would come in the afterlife. And while she's on this heavy pursuit that she feels like she's so connected to her faith and what she thinks is God speaking through her, we really see a deep dive into the darkness that is there and what can happen when this mental illness is not treated, when someone is incredibly lonely, they're looking for any sort of embrace they possibly can, and someone who has been completely shut out her whole entire life, that she's experiencing things for the first time, that she doesn't know what to attach them to besides somebody working through her, some other thing working through her, as if she is some spiritual being herself. And so with that, a majority of this film is not jump scares. It's not a bunch of horrific visuals, but it is this woman learning how to control what she's feeling inside, learning how to really talk to these voices that are all around her and kind of distribute different things and emotions that she's having and put all the pieces together, because she really believes in her mind that God is speaking to her and through her and has put her on some sort of mission. But what we know is that this thing that is going on inside of her, this thing that she's trying to share with others, is not just God. This isn't normal. There is a lot more going on beyond the surface. So there's a constant theme here and questions being asked. Is this God? Is this the devil? Is it some unearthly being that we could not even imagine the capabilities of what this thing is? Is it good? Is it evil? What is the plan? What is the purpose here? Because while our main character feels like she has all the answers, it's pretty clear early on that what is she being controlled by? What is she having consumed inside of her? is not exactly what it's shaped up to be in her own head. What I love about the way Rose Glass went about telling the story is that there's also plenty of moments to where scenes are played out and perspectives are played to where we're seeing it through her point of view and how she's really visioning the world around her. All of the spotlight, all of the attention on her. She's got this purpose that she has to fulfill, and so all of the details feel like they're really just coming to par to exactly what she wants to happen. But then you take a look through a different lens and you see how it's actually playing out around her, how this world is actually seeing this girl go around and declare these things that she believes are true, and it's very different than what she is perceiving it to be. She's very ill. She's very messed up in the head because she is consumed by so many different demons and so many different things she believes is one thing, that really she is having a very negative impact on the world, and this thing that is inside of her is having a very negative impact on her as well. And not only is she constantly longing to share the love of what she feels is God to others around her, but there's also this constant state to where you can tell she is longing to be loved herself, because that has been absent her entire life. You can tell she's been shut out, kind of pushed to the side, never really had that emotional embrace she needs to really have the connective wiring she needs inside of her brain to live a normal life, to process things normally. So the most normal and basic situation can be turned into something completely different in her own head. It can be completely darker and different than it ever would be to the normal human being, because not only is she mentally ill, but she's also got this other being controlling her that is really making her see the world in a very negative light. Morfydd Clark, who plays Maud in this film, does a great job at showing this naivety through her character, as all of these things are coming her way and she just does not know how to react to it. In certain situations, it seems like she's almost completely desensitized, because it's times to where she should show certain emotion when in reality she's just showing a blank face, or she's getting excited over things that are not very exciting at all, and everything she's taking in the wrong light, in the wrong interpretation, because she just doesn't know how to act. She doesn't know how to process real human feelings, and that's why it was so easy for this entity, whatever it is, to take over her body almost like a vessel, because she is so stripped away from the normal world that her entire self-being is unusual. She's uncomfortable. She doesn't know the difference between right and wrong from reality and something unworldly. It's very dark and slow burning, and it's really spending a lot of its time diving into the mind of this character. And while that's a great thing, it can also be a bad thing at times, because about through the first 2 acts of the film, it can tend to drag a bit, be a little bit slow. There's a lot of scenes that I feel like I understand where they're going with it, but it didn't necessarily need to be in the film to tell the overall narrative, to get the whole point across, because you could have cut some of those scenes out and we still would have understood the main idea behind the story being told. But through the 3rd act is when it really starts to pick up. That's when all the craziness comes out. That's when the horror elements really start to show and shed light upon those things. And then when we get to the ending of this film, my jaw was on the floor. The last 10 minutes of this movie are where it really shines, because it's letting it all loose. It's putting it all out there. The entire aspect and idea behind the story that they're trying to tell is completely revealed and shed in full light in those last 10 minutes. And they deliver a lot of moments that are very risky. They were bold, but they were beautiful in how they were executed. Rose Glass has an eye behind the camera, but also just a way to write a finale that is captivating, interesting, and it really pays off the entire story that was told beforehand. So while it wasn't perfect, and while the first 2 acts tended to drag a bit, there was moments that could have easily been stripped back in the film. Rose Glass ultimately did a great job at telling this story about someone who was dealing with mental illness, loneliness, but also just discovering their own faith and how to go about that, and really processing the difference between right and wrong, and it had a conclusion that made the rest of the film entirely worth it. And that's why I'm gonna have to give Saint Maud an 8 out of 10. So guys, make sure to let me know all of your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments, but I would definitely suggest checking out this movie, especially if you're a fan of A24, of horror. Now, while it's not necessarily the scariest film, Gotta go into this one knowing that it's definitely more of a character journey, a story like that, a deep dive, slow burn film, but it's definitely got plenty of moments that pay off, and Rose Glass has a brilliant future ahead behind the camera. But as always, guys, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to turn on the bell notification to get notified every time I post a new video. Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for the continuous support, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.